It's been a minute. Last week, you and I didn't get together. It was to be the monthly forum, but there were no entries added to the monthly forum, so I turned it into an office hours.
Yeah, I caught the replay on that.
Yeah, I didn't
Interesting
upload that.
conversation.
I am interested to know if others would find it interesting. I don't know.
Got
I
some
was
people really digging in.
Yeah, we do. A couple people doing some interesting things there, talking about a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't understand either, which, a lot of terms on
Geneva.
network load balancers are not really my forte, but afterwards I understood more what was going on. Anyway, let's see, what are we up to today, Ken? What are we doing today?
Zrok.
Psh, Z-Rock. Let's see. What's our view? What do we want? We want this one. I like this one better. Yeah. More and more Xerox today. I don't have the latest and greatest Xerox. I'm probably going to go and obtain that. But we're going to just play around with Xerox today. I don't know. I don't remember. Ken, maybe you'll remind me. Did we demonstrate simple public sharing and simple private sharing? I never got around to going back and looking, but I wanted to do that again just to cover it because I think it's fun and exciting.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the basic idea is that either you've got some files or you've got a web site or web API that you want to share with somebody either through a public URL where they don't have to do anything in advance, or if you want to share it with them privately, then you send them a token.
And when you say public, you mean like legitimately public? Like anybody on the internets can get to it?
Yeah, a public share is just like an unpredictable URL, so it's a little bit obscure, not easily guessed, but it's public. Doesn't require any authentication.
Uh, but Xerox can allow you to add a tiny bit, right?
You can also configure your share to have a password, and
Yeah.
it's
So
it's still
so it could
public,
still
but
be public. It still
it
could
can
be
be public and
obscured.
anonymous or public and authenticated with
Yeah.
basic auth.
And then I've personally have not explored the reserved shares. Have you explored
Oh yeah,
those? Yeah.
yeah. It's just one extra step. When you do a share, you can say, "Give me a, give me a like a persistent share name," and then all the URLs that you share with that will always use that same. The URL will be the same even if you stop the share and start it again. But like the main way that people will probably use zrok is just to share something for a minute temporarily, and so the share URL is also temporary, but you can make it permanent with a reserved
Yeah.
share.
Well, I haven't played it with it, but I think it would be interesting to go through Xerox, go through. So, from a Kubernetes perspective, you have a cluster somewhere, right? And
Yep.
you don't have Xerox installed, but you do have Ziti installed, or do you have like nothing installed?
I just have a Kubernetes cluster. It's set up with DNS and ingress and just Kubernetes stuff, but it doesn't have any ZD yet.
Oh, cool. So we're gonna add
And
all of that.
yeah, we're gonna add it all. We're gonna add just enough ZD to run zrok because zrok today's zrok really wants to have its own ZD, but there's nothing to prevent you from using your ZD for other things too. But that's the way we're going to do it because it's uh,
Well, we're starting fresh and clean. That's cool.
we're starting
So
fresh and clean.
yeah, do you have any sort of diagram that shows what we're gonna do?
Uh, no, I don't think I do
Okay,
have
I'll have a
a
mental.
diagram. We can do a back of the napkin kind of sketch if you want
Yeah, I don't
to
think I
sort
don't
of.
think that. I mean, like maybe we should. Yeah, just a real quick one if we could.
Okay, yeah, let's do a real quick one then.
You have a nice way to do that, right?
Yeah, I've got like a whiteboard up here we can use.
Yep.
So, but it's not plugged in. So
What do you have
here we
like
go.
a tablet to draw on?
Yeah, it's a tablet.
Ooh, Ken, that's exciting. I need to get one of
So I
those.
got my stylus here.
Yeah, neat.
See
Is
if it
it just
works.
is it like a bespoke for drawing tool, or is it like an iPad slash something else?
It's a USB tablet made by
It is.
Wacom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, they've been around for a while. Shout out to
So
Wacom tablets then.
yeah, I went on. I went on.
Unsponsored video.
I got a used one on eBay pretty cheap, and I'm been real happy with it. It just sits up here so I can whiteboard and stuff. But
Nice.
so I guess we could do layers. We could say like what we want is zrok, and what we have is well, Kate's, and what we need is Ziti, and these are like foundational layers that build on each other.
Okay. Going from the bottom up, I like it. I'm
Yeah.
a top down kind of guy. I find that interesting.
So our internet touches. Um, you can judge a person by the quality of their cloud.
It's a beautiful cloud.
Internet touches the zrok, and it touches the ZD, and it touches the Kates,
Mm-hmm.
because we've got our Cube API server over here, and we've got our ZD Edge over here, and we've got our zrok, what's called a front end. Well, I can't spell it, but it's called a front end, and we've got an API. So all of these are going to be generically ingresses from the
And so
internet.
they're all gonna be deployed into a Kubernetes cluster, or those
Yep,
two top things.
we've got this one so far. So we need to build this, and then we need to build this.
Yep.
And the ZD includes a controller, and a router.
Okay. And I know from my own self-hosting, if you're going to self-host zrok, you need a wildcard certificate. Does Kubernetes take care of all that for me?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. The Kubernetes that we have right now has a few things already set up. One of them is DNS. Another is an ingress controller. Another is a cert manager issuer. So that's where the certificate's going to come from. The cert manager has configuration, so it knows how to solve DNS challenges for Acme, so it can get a wildcard certificate, and it also can get it can also solve HTTP challenges for a one-off certificate
Nice.
for a particular name.
And so, how long does it take for Kubernetes to cook this up? Should we start it out? Should we get it going?
Yeah, I haven't done it in a few days, so it's probably going to be a little bit of trial and error, but
Oh
it,
boy.
it takes probably about 5 minutes when everything's going smoothly. And hopefully I don't hit my Let's Encrypt rate limit, because I
Hopefully
have
not.
they only give you 5 per week of the same
Is that
certificate.
right?
Yeah. And I have hit it before, so I had to change my DNS name.
Well, worst case scenario, if that happens, I have one we can just pretend. Although it won't be inside of zrok or Kubernetes, it'll just be self-hosted one.
Okay. So I'm going to, should we switch over to the IDE and
Sure.
start doing stuff? Okay.
I'm going to change the thumbnail on this video to this image, though.
All right. I am adjusting this. We can actually do zrok without a certificate just to avoid.
Just an FYI, you're only sharing the diagram.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't switch over yet, but I was debating whether to avoid the certificate issue altogether just to simplify. We can do this without TLS. Like zrok doesn't require TLS.
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
Well, you were saying, you said I know that zrok wants a wildcard certificate, but we can certainly use zrok without TLS at all.
I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do it. Okay. Well, then let's do it
So,
with TLS, and
yeah, if you hit the limit, we'll just switch over to my
we'll
zrok
just
and
switch.
we'll call that a day.
Okay.
Because that's how I've
So,
already gone through the Let's Encrypt DNS challenge there.
all right, I'm going to turn on TLS then. Just making an adjustment to my recipes so that it
Could you
will.
make it just a smidgen bigger?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Now I'm sure it's uncomfortable for you to use, but I can read it very
Oh, no,
well.
it's fine.
All right.
It's fine. I can make it bigger if we
No,
need
no,
to.
that's pretty good.
Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to use Terraform for my recipe, and I'm going to go ahead and run my Terraform modules to get things set up.
And if somebody likes Terraform and wants to do this, this is pushed into a GitHub repository somewhere.
Yeah, there's a sandbox repo out there, and I'll make sure that the link makes its way into the video description. While we're talking about it, I'll go ahead and
It's
pull it
on.
up
I was.
on the screen.
I can go do it. That way you can continue to do this.
Okay. Well, here's the repo.
Oh,
It's
never mind.
Terraform LKE Ziti.
You've already got it. I love it.
So I need to run Terraform apply for each one of these modules. And that's going to install a Ziti controller. That takes a minute. And then we need to install the router. We'll see what else we have. I'll bring up my folders so we can see what the different modules are, because they're kind of easy to see. I've got them numbered so they're in order here. So we brought our own Kates. It already had DNS and certificate manager and ingress controller all set up, ready to go. We're running this one right now, the Ziti controller. We need the router, and we'll run the services and client modules too. They only take half a second, and that'll give us some services that we can use to make sure everything's working, make sure the Ziti
What's
stuff
in
is
the
working.
when you say ZD services? What do you mean? Like, is it HTTP bin or something like that?
Let's take a look. So this module, the Ziti services module, is going to turn on hosting for the management API and Kate's API services. It's going to go find the router that we created and give it the necessary role attributes so that it can host those services inside the cluster. It's going to create us a client identity that we can use to access any Ziti services that we want to access. It's not strictly necessary for zrok, but this is the way that my lab is set up right now. So
No, no. I was just wondering
yeah,
what services are going to be exposed through ZD. So it sounds like the management API for Kubernetes is one.
yeah, it is. So that module has succeeded and given us a Ziti console. We can use that to peek inside of the Ziti to see what it's doing, what the zrok stuff is doing, and to see what kind of services the module has created. I'm going to go ahead and run the router module as well. So I'll just say yes, since we're starting from scratch. And I need to go get my Ziti password.
In some other screen, probably.
Well, I think maybe it's actually more helpful just to show it if anybody wants to try to sabotage me live. That's admirable. It's going to be an undertaking, and I'll just rebuild this afterwards. Better to show the recipe, I think. So I'm looking inside the cluster. I want to get the
So I have not been
admin
able.
login.
I have not been able to follow, but now I am following. So what you did there on the left is you have added a Kubernetes extension to to VS Code,
Right.
and then it is configured to access your Kubernetes cluster in some way, shape,
Right.
or form. Gotcha.
Yep. It's just a nicer way of showing it. So I just went and put the admin password for Ziti on my clipboard so I can paste it in to the
And so
admin console.
the non the non UI way to do that would be something like kubectl get secret.
Yep. And I'll show you that. I'll show that too. Get admin. I'm just searching my shell history to find the command. So like this one does both get the secret ZD controller admin secret, parse it out, decode it, and then pipe it
Oh, it logs you
to
in.
the ZD login
Yeah.
command.
Yep.
So with
That way
that,
your
we can
ZD
actually
CLI is now
say
authenticated
list
too.
identities. Yeah, we can
Yep.
do ZD
Cool.
stuff all at
All
once.
right. Look at that.
So there's a CLI and a UI way to do it. And we're looking at the ZD console now. That's working, and it has a Let's Encrypt certificate.
Yep.
So that's all good. Back to our modules, we need to run a couple more. These, and we're past the slow ones. Now we need to do some fast ones. Router, ZD services is next. I'll say Terraform apply. And that's mainly going to run a bunch of ZD API RESTful requests to create stuff in ZD. So now we should see some services here for Kubernetes API, management API, and then a little RESTful test
Yep.
server as well. The neat thing about the RESTful test one is that it's a ZD SDK app, Go HTTP bin, or fork of HTTP bin, so it doesn't even need an agent or tunnel or anything.
Cool.
Okay, so we don't have a client identity yet. It's there, but it hasn't been enrolled, so I'll just download the Edge
Do we
client.
need the client identity if we're doing zrok?
No, we don't. No, we could skip over that. I usually do it just to make sure, just a sanity check to make sure that I'm able to access ZD services.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not strictly necessary. Just kind of tells me that everything's working. Oh.
Time to clean this temp folder up.
You think? It's going through. Okay. So if this is working, then we'll have services. I'm running the desktop UI from NPM, and it is having a little trouble with it.
Is it locked
Let's
up?
see if it's working. We can just go ahead and run a quick test. So that looks good. We are talking to Ziti now. All right, so
Cool.
Next module. We did services, do the client configuration.
And what is this doing?
This module is doing a bunch of unnecessary stuff.
I'm so glad we ran it then. What was it?
I'm trying to stick to.
Just tell me what it was doing, though. I'm just interested what it was doing.
It created a certificate authenticator for the default admin, got the client certificate, saved it in a file, and configured the kube config. It mutated the kube config to use the ZD service.
Gotcha. Cool.
I have an observability module here, which is going to install Prometheus and Grafana. Okay. And that way, if we have any questions about what's going on with the cluster, we can just peek and see any metrics that we're interested in. It does install a ZD dashboard as well, so we can see ZD metrics. And then finally, the zrok module. Yeah. So that's next. Prometheus will actually probably take a second.
In the meantime, I am also going to go out to OpenZD/zrok releases and make sure I have the latest zrok release, which appears to be 0.3.5.
Yes.
I'll get that so that it's on my available for me.
And I'll actually be running the 0.3.6 release candidate image because I've added some stuff in there for Kubernetes.
What sort of stuff?
Two things mainly. I changed the way that zrok performs its own version sanity check. It wants to make sure that like the zrok CLI on the client side is talking to an expected version on the server side. But when it does that, it expects a string like v0.3. And when you do a build from a branch, you get the get ref's heads prefix in there, so it breaks the sanity check.
Gotcha.
And I just modified it to allow that prefix. And the other thing is that I changed the container image build for Kubernetes so that it has the same Ziti CLI and Kubernetes CLI tools in the container image, so it can run in Kubernetes and do like lifecycle management stuff.
Makes sense. Cool.
All right, now we have Prometheus and a monitoring namespace. So finally, I'll run the zrok module. And that'll give us a zrok namespace. And I think I'm going to combine ZD and zrok into one namespace because I'm really going to be using them as parts of the same application. Like zrok's going to be just an extension of ZD, or ZD an extension of zrok, depending on how you look at it. And they don't really need to be in separate namespaces when you've got one
Yeah.
ZD for every zrok.
Sure. Sure.
Here's our zrok namespace. So I'll switch over to that in my sidebar here, and we can start to see the zrok deployments showing up here and hopefully turning green soon.
And green is important.
And inside of Ziti, we should start to see some zrok stuff too once it bootstraps.
Stuff.
There we go. There's our zrok CTRL and front end identities. So that stuff's coming online. So we can actually take a look at the logs here. Did I not click it? And it didn't respond. Looks like I'm having a little hiccup in connectivity.
All right. I have the zrok installed. So if I do a version.
I'm installing InfluxDB as well because zrok has the ability to record metrics, to persist metrics, and use that as an efficient way of showing activity and enforcing limits in the future version, the 0.4, which isn't out yet. So I've been playing with that a little bit. All right, now our zrok deployments are green. I'm going to try again to get to the logs. There we go. Let's take a look at the log here. That looks happy.
Mm-hmm. Did it create the front end for us too? You can see her down there.
Yes.
Created global front end.
Yes, it did. The front end deployment actually creates itself. Run, scroll to bottom. So we've got both of those up and listening. So I'm going to go ahead on my workstation here. I'm just going to delete the zrok folder. So I'm starting from scratch. And I'll say
That is the way that we recommend to basically clean the environment.
Yeah. So I'll do a set config so that I'm telling my zrok CLI to point there. Actually, I need to first check my version. Yeah, 3.6.
Hang on,
Which should be out.
I'm gonna do this at the same time. What was that? zrok
Config set API endpoint.
API endpoint.
Actually, you can use
Perhaps
the same one if you want, or you have your own.
my own what?
You have your own zrok?
I do have my own zrok, yes. However,
You can use the
let's
same
see.
one.
I want to be able to show our stuff side by side here. There we go. All right, so Ken's on the right-hand side. I'm on the left-hand side. This is over here. This is my screen. When you say I can use the same one, what do you mean by using the same one?
I mean, the next step here is to do a zrok invite,
Yep.
and you can get an invite to this instance as well if you want to. So
Yeah, that's
you
what I thought.
can do a
I
share.
thought you were going to enable. We were going to enable. Yeah. Oh, I see. Your point is it doesn't particularly matter.
You don't have to use my enable token. You can get your own.
Yeah.
Like right now, you can do this, and then we can say zrok invite, and we can say Ziti TV at my address, Ziti TV.
Now, did you configure email?
Oh, I've got it set up to require a token. So you're going to need a token. I'm going to spit out some tokens. This is like a one-time thing you have to do. When you have tokens enabled, it just means that you can't sign up anonymously. You got to have a token in advance. So let's jump into zrok here and get some tokens. First, I have to remember how to do it. Generate. There we go. So I'll put this token on in Mattermost so that you can use it.
I'll have to turn Mattermost on.
I'll put it in the private chat then.
That's all right. I turned on Mattermost. It's fine.
Okay.
Hey, now I got it twice.
And I'll use this one.
So I can zrok invite myself.
You'll have to say invite token like this.
Yep. Oh, is it 443?
What did I put it as? Yeah, HTTPS. I turned on TLS and it looks like it's working.
Let's see. zrok.canary.openzd.io.
Let me scroll up to where I ran.
I'm getting a error creating client, and it looks like it doesn't think my zrok endpoint is set. Did I pass token wrong?
Here's the correct endpoint.
Yeah, that's what I used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you need to say like this, invite dash dash token.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can see my screen, right?
Oh, actually, let me zoom on that so I can see it properly.
Here, make it even bigger.
Now, when I make our...
Oh, did you? No, you used a different token. Thought maybe we used the same token.
I can see it. All right, so the error you're getting is...
I have run zrok config set endpoint. I ran a zrok status to see what my status was. And it is this. On it, it brings me to a place that is live.
You might have to run the branch build of zrok, now that I think about it, because it has the version checking fix. I'll send you the link.
All right. I don't know if I have it cloned. I don't.
Oh, I have the binary download you can use.
Yeah, I wanted to build it for Windows, though, and do it from Windows.
Oh, yeah, I only have the Linux download.
Yeah, I was going to do it from both. Let me just go and clone zrok. We can do it live.
Yeah, if you want to do a build, then grab my branch.
What branch is it?
It is.
Rookie or patch 1?
Ooh, nope, I'm looking for it. Open Ziti zrok.
Let me go out and look at. Do you have a pull request open?
I'm looking for it.
Oh, I'm looking for it too. Fix typo.
Huh.
Probably not it.
I
Gonna go to zrok. Click on
thought I
branches.
had a pull request.
You have one that's going against the v 4.0.
It's already merged into main.
Oh, it's merged into
So
main. Oh.
it's merged into main. So
Well,
you
then I
just
don't need to
need.
check anything out. I just need to build.
Yeah, and you can also use the Docker build for main if you don't want to install it.
I'm not going to
Or, no, you
install
wanted
it.
it for Windows. That's
Yep.
right.
No pattern matching files. Oh, I didn't do. How do you get the UI? So when you, I gotta go look. Let me go look at the zrok README. See if we have a build. How to build on here. Build up Markdown. I gotta go to the UI folder. UI
I got my invite email here.
install. You did configure it with you did configure a mail server then.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, you should be able to get an invitation email.
What is this all about? No such file bash -r, huh?
So when I click on the button in the email, I get the zrok UI. That's good.
Looks like I have some sort of interesting Windows character in Linux land. My npm install is giving me an error on my user bin environment bash/r. No such file or directory. What is that all about? All right, let's go to the old version of Linux that I have on here with WSL and git clone. Git clone this to zrok. Git pull. And then git checkout main. Yes, I want to pull. Status. I don't care about those things. And then let's cd to UI and install. So it must be embedding the UI inside of the Go binary.
It is.
Makes sense. That's why. Ignore my stuff today, Ken. We are doing things elsewhere, and the children have decided that this is the staging area for all of their junk.
Pretty nice set of skis.
Yeah, it was used, terrible. All right, we're going to take a tangent now. Terrible ski season here in Western New York. Got to use those skis precisely one time.
Oh yeah, that's the
Brand
problem
new
with
for Christmas
winter
and nothing.
sporting goods.
Nothing. All right,
I have a
so
snowboard that has sat on top of my cabinets for years now, and I feel a little defeated every time I look at it.
well, we have a different climate that we both live in. All right, I'm having trouble. Let's see. Go mod tidy maybe.
It wouldn't work in WSL, would it? To give
It's
if you
Yeah, it's supposed to. Like that.
it would.
This has
Okay.
built before for me. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm just trying to build it.
Well, would the Linux download? We have the Linux AMD 64 download. Would that work in WSL?
Yeah. But that was what I was running it in when it wouldn't work, when it didn't work. So I might just have you send me the 3 dot whatever build that you have, because I might not be able to just make this work in Windows. That's what it's coming down to.
Yeah. The build the last build from main is what you want. Here's the link.
Is there an action that's building these things?
There is now. Yep. I've got it saving the Linux artifact for branch builds.
I see, but
So
no
we can just
love, no
download it.
love for the Windows people.
Well, we didn't have Windows in the CI build yet. The little test build that it does whenever you push, it doesn't build for Windows yet. So I
zrok
didn't have anything to save.
Linux. Let me just, if it's already pre-built, I can just use this. That's much easier.
Yeah. So this is what I sent Clint. The branch build for
Now
main
let's do main.
has a download
V,
button
let's
here.
move. Temp. Remove the zrok Linux zrok to my home folder and zrok, right? Is it in there? Such folder or directory. Oh yes, that's because it did that. Fine, we'll use tilde instead. There we go. Zrok version. That's from main, so that's different. And then I go back to my token invite. And Clint. Okay. So that's interesting. That there's definitely some sort of breaking change there. I definitely did need the newest one. All right, where's my email? Let's go see if I got my email. Here it is. Welcome to zrok. Please click on the link below. That's my email address. That's not what I want. Create an account. Set the password. All right. The password has been set, Ken. I'm going to go and enable the environment now. zrok. Enable. Contacting the zrok service. zrok environment was successfully set up. All right, we are successful, Ken.
All right, cool.
That's fun.
So I've got a little web server here running on localhost 3000, and I'm going to share that with zrok.
I got to find wherever I am. There we are. All right. So you've got a...
Oops, I just missed the mark. There we go. Yeah, my little web server here is running on localhost 3000.
Okay.
And so I need to say zrok share public, I believe. Yeah, that's right. Better make this big so I can see what I'm doing. zrok share public, and then the target is going to be localhost 3000, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and that gives us the share URL. So if I click on that, then we can see the website in the browser at that address. Everything's working.
Cool. So can you copy that link and let me go there?
Yep.
Popping up the wrong browser
And
for
this
me.
scrolling text over here should show both of our traffic coming in.
There we go. Hello, Ziggy. Cool. So now if I refresh a bunch of times, it'll just show you me getting the data back again. Nice. All right. So that's a public share. Can we try now? Actually, can I share your public share?
Totally. Yeah, it's public.
So let's go for some inception, shall we? zrok share public this.
Oh man.
See what happens.
Why not?
If I click on this, actually, let me copy it instead. Come over to here. I want to do this, and then I'll make a new tab. See what happens. So there's me getting proxied. Does it make it to you? Oh, we found an interesting. No inception in zrok.
What's the
Must
problem,
be.
I wonder? Oh, maybe it's I don't know why you want to do this, but it's
I don't.
working.
I'm only doing it because I can. This is the way I operate, Ken, is I do things that nobody else would do for the foolish reasons, right? Oh, that's fun. You can make it say something else. Let's go back to
It's like a slideshow. Yeah.
not this. It is. Oh, how do I move it?
Refresh.
Refresh.
I
All right.
added it after
There it
you
is.
loaded it. Yeah.
Fun. All right. So interesting. Don't reshare something public that Xerox is already
Right.
sharing.
So
I mean, why would you do that? Ken asks, which is a very valid question.
why would you do that? I mean,
Why would you do
the
that?
actually Xerox is this is going to come up because Xerox is just begging to act like a bridge between things.
What about WTTR.in? See if that'll work. Oops, I went to the website. Let me, let's see. I want to make a new. Oh, actually, I didn't need to do it that way. I can do it this way. What
Yeah, we
happens if
can't
I?
see
Oh, I can. I'm
what
doing it
came
down
up.
here. Yeah, no, it's because it keeps going to the wrong browser. I'm going to do it over here instead because this is a website that I can curl to,
Mhm.
and I've got to supply the -h because its host is wttr.in. Doesn't like the host header. Well, that's interesting too. All right, so I guess I'll bring it up in the browser, which is what it was meant to do anyway, and bring
Mhm.
this over here. And you can see, you can check the weather for probably Fairport, New York is what it usually ends up being in. So if I can find my Ken private chat, oh, no, Ken private chat, I can go there. And Ken can see what the weather is like here in,
Oh, look at
well,
that.
actually, it's actually in
Bremen, Germany?
Germany. It's in Germany. Interesting. Did you install this in Europe somewhere?
No.
I
I'm not sure
wonder
why
if it's
it's coming up.
it's not detecting. That's interesting. Let's see if I do can I do location equals New York. Does that work? I'm in Germany. No, it must be just an example. Oh, it says sorry, we've processed more requests today. That's what it said. I didn't read that
Oh.
right at the top. It just says it's basically saying too bad, this isn't going to work. But you can see that it is proxying that website,
Mhm.
and all the things come through in the way I would expect. I expected to see some weather, but that's not what I saw. But that's cool. All right, so that's a public share. How about a reserved share? I haven't explored that.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. So this was our command that we did the first time. If we just change this to reserve, then we get this token. Oh, look at that. I forgot to make the front end use HTTPS.
I did notice that.
Yeah, that's a configuration change in my recipe. I just forgot to switch it over to TLS. I forgot to switch that one over to TLS, but we can demonstrate correcting that right now. It would
No, I
just
don't.
start working.
I don't. I think at
It's
this
really
point,
easy. Yeah.
nah.
Okay. Well, once
Um,
you get their share token reserved like this, then it's
mhm.
not live at this moment. If I try to go to it, then there's nothing there. But
Yeah.
if I do if I then say reserve, oh,
Is it share reserved? Is it?
share reserved, and then the token, then it fires it up. And we can, then if I do control C cancel, this will come back with the same address.
Every time. How did you share it again? I looked away.
Just
Oh,
so it's two steps instead
you
of
share
one.
the reserved token. I see.
Right.
Can you name the reservation? Can you keep it up
Like a
in front of
vanity
you?
name?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not in this
Cool.
version.
Was that a 4.0 feature then? You think?
Maybe four,
You know, I had
maybe
the
later.
actually I had the projects not README, but the project Xerox project up, and I forgot and I closed it. It's right here, I think. We could probably go to GitHub and see version 4 if vanity URLs is listed. Visible access, visibility, vanity share tokens. It is indeed on 4. Well, at least it's planned for 4. We'll see if it makes it or not, right? Being planned does not mean guaranteed.
Yeah,
Cool.
that will be really nice though, because you can give it a meaningful name like My Slideshow
Yeah.
or whatever. Hello, Ziggy. We should also cover private shares. So
Oh,
if I
yeah.
do a Xerox share private instead of Xerox share public, same, the rest of it's the same, the localhost web server. That's going to give me, just like the public share, it's going to give me a temporary token that's good for this one share, for this one run. And if I paste that to you, then you should be able to run that to start up your little localhost proxy for
Oh,
my
I
service.
share, but I needed to access instead. Unable to access 404, not found.
I don't know what we missed.
You have what you copied to me is not what is shown on your screen.
Oh, I know what happened. I know
It says
exactly what happened.
bent.
Yeah. The problem is that I put the last one on my clipboard, but not the current one. And so when I canceled it, it's a 404.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Let's try this one.
I fell into the very trap that I was trying to explain and warn people about while it was
On
happening.
purpose.
Yeah.
You're so wily, Ken.
There you go.
All right. So now this is zrok is running locally a proxy. My stupid mouse is freaking out again. Any more? Did you add any more? No, just the 2. I see.
Yeah.
So zrok is running locally, proxying my traffic up through zrok privately, right?
Right.
So I'm able to access things only through zrok in this case.
Right.
It's very cool. What else? What other interesting things? We're almost. I mean, we're already at 50 minutes, so I don't know if we have anything else that's exciting to show.
Well, you should probably refresh your view of the slide because I
Oh,
added
you
some
added.
color.
Is it some comedy gold? Hey, it's interesting that it pushed it off top.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
formatting's
these.
messed
Did
up.
you use the? No, did you use the SVG?
Yep.
Yeah, Dave Finker's SVGs here. They come along with a tremendous amount of white space for whatever reason. Let me shrink. Can I shrink it down? Nope.
Refresh
There
it
it
again.
goes. There, now it's nice and tiny.
I removed some white space.
All right. There we go.
I'd probably have to add a scaling, like do some inline styles on that.
Yeah.
But
Whenever Illustrator exports the SVGs, it adds the whole canvas for whatever reason.
but as soon as I Control C cancel that, then you lose access to
Let's
it,
try. Let's try.
even though it's private share.
F5. What is my, oh yeah, look at this. All these errors. Sad little errors. Unable to dial. Sad.
But
Now,
we
can
could
you
have
reserve a
done,
private share?
yes, absolutely. There's our
So if
share
I refresh,
token. Well, it's not running yet, is it? I think I have to actually say,
I see.
share reserved like this and give it the new token, which it did not. I'm having trouble with my clipboard here. Try this again. Slowly press Control Shift Copy. There, now it's working. So this new token, this is a access private token. If you use that one, now you should be able to access it. Even if I cancel it and come back, it'll be the same token. So I wouldn't need to reshare it with you. I would just need to make sure that it's running. There you go.
And so can you terminate?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Control C cancel.
And
Now
then
you're going to get
if I
errors.
refresh, I should get a bunch of errors not found. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now if you turn it back on again,
Share the same one.
Sure looks the same. Yay! Oh, that's very exciting. How cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ken, I think that's good ZD TV. That was pretty cool watching you deploy an entire ZD overlay network with a router in Kubernetes, along with a whole bunch of stuff that you said we didn't need. And then the zrok controller and overlay, set that all up. Oh, you're showing your graphs now? That's cool.
Yeah,
What
they
is
got
that?
some
What are
ZD
you
metrics
showing here?
flowing in.
Hang on, let me embiggen this. Let's see what that looks like. And so what
You can
is it
see
we're seeing here?
we're seeing the Grafana app graphing the ZD metrics that Prometheus is scraping from ZD.
I see. They could use some contrast.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So that's running out of your Grafana is running out of Kubernetes there.
Yep.
Nice.
And we can see the Zrok ingress here graphed in the Nginx, one of the canned Nginx dashboards.
Very
It gives
cool.
you, so you get a lot of insights into what's going on with the HTTP stuff.
All right. Well, Ken, I think that is a fantastic ZD TV. Thanks for taking us on a ride and showing us and teaching me some new zrok stuff.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All
Happy
right.
to do
We'll
it.
see everybody